All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, Play Fast. A little bit different vibe today, maybe a little bit different scene than you're used to, and I'll explain why and what's going on. But sorry, I'm a little bit disheveled right now. We just got off the field from our morning workouts, varsity kids, JV kids, Florida. 9 o'clock in the morning, it's already almost 100% humidity, and you know the feel-like temperature is 95 degrees that early in the morning. So still in the same clothes, same hat. Took time to wash my hands and splash my face, but reason we're kind of doing a little bit different twist today is because I just realized recently that YouTube has a podcast feature, right? And when you look at it, I know that it's a little bit strange to people who are traditional podcasters, simply because the podcast feature on YouTube is really just a playlist. And when I investigated it, basically any video you have can fall under that playlist. Now, I realize that there's going to be other bigger and better things that people who understand more about search engine optimization and the algorithm and YouTube and everything else, and you know, these podcasts are going to have a chance to go on under the YouTube Music, or they could be featured on a YouTube podcast page. So I know that there's more coming to this, but at first look, a podcast on YouTube is really just a playlist of videos. So any video I do, I can put under that playlist, and I can make it a podcast. Now, why is that important to somebody like me? Anybody that's watched my videos in the past realize that they're never edited. I press play on the camera, I walk out in front. Usually I do it in front of the whiteboard, which is to my right now, because this is my desk at work that I am sitting at. I record the video, I walk behind the camera, I press stop, and we roll from there, right? So I have done some podcasts in the past, some video podcasts with a couple years ago with a friend of mine, former player of mine, and was teaching at the school I was at, and he was also getting into the audio visual world, which he now has a really great company, Grant Visuals, up and running, taking pictures, doing videos at sporting events. And so we started doing podcasts back then, before the pandemic, probably before I did my first clinic. And we were doing video podcasts, right? So we were videotaping the podcast, me and him were talking, and you know, we did a couple of those, and then you know, it kind of got to the point where I really love the podcasting world. I think that I have enough of a personality to do podcasts. I think I have enough interesting things to talk about to do podcasts, but I don't have the technological background. And if I studied it, I could probably figure out. Maybe I don't give myself enough credit, but I don't really want to, or do I have the time to look into editing and putting all those things together. I don't even have the greatest computer. I don't have the fancy microphone with the windscreen. If I wanted to be a full-time podcaster, I would get all those things, but it's not something that I ever wanted to do. I never wanted to be a full-time podcaster. I just thought podcasts would be a neat idea to take people kind of on a different journey beyond what Coach Mac in front of a whiteboard is all about. So we started doing some of those, and then when the YouTube podcast feature came out, I started thinking to myself, you know, this is pretty neat. I can take those podcasts that were all previously unlisted and they were private on my channel. I can throw all those into a playlist called the Play Fast Podcast. And now if you went to any of those podcasts, you probably realized real quickly that they were done 2 years ago, right? But they were all originally video podcasts, much like this one were. So now what I figured out is, under this feature, I can do segments like this where I talk about anything that I want to talk about, and I do it in a setting that's not on the whiteboard, and I put it in a playlist under the Play Fast Podcast, which means if you realize that the Play Fast Podcasts are going to be videos like this, and you're just a guy that's on the channel for X's and O's, well then you know, don't go to the playlist that's under the Play Fast Podcast, just go to videos that I put out all the time, right? I took all the shorts that I do on the golf course and I put those into a playlist. Haven't made them a separate podcast yet, but it basically gives me a way within my own channel now to separate some of the information so that people that just want X's and O's, they're hardcore, they want me on the whiteboard, that's why they tuned in, they know that there's a place for that. People that are interested in seeing what might be going on in my life, or what things I'm doing, or where I am in the middle of July as opposed to the middle of August, or what things do we want to do with Play Fast or Coach Mac that I want to talk about today that I'm going to get into, well then you know that you can go to the Play Fast Podcast and these are the types of videos that you're going to get, right? So for me, it's a simple way for somebody who is really not technologically savvy, doesn't really have the time to invest into all the equipment that you would need to get and all the skills you would need to learn to edit. don't want to hire somebody else to edit. If I ever edited anything, my daughters would do the editing because they're smart enough to do it, and I would keep it in-house. Not a big enough business to hire video people and editing people, so you're trying to do everything kind of under the umbrella of one person, so to speak, right? And it's not easy to do. So the videos you go to that are professionally edited or that are edited and spliced, and I never even got into the YouTube algorithm of thumbnails and titles. Most of my thumbnails are me in the video, and most of the titles, there's never really a title over the thumbnail. And the more and more I look into it, that's how people are really optimizing their YouTube channel. So you put a title on there that people want to go to, you put a thumbnail on there, and then you realize in the video that the thumbnail and the title is 1% of the video, and 99% is something, you know, completely different. You know, yesterday I clicked on a video that had a title of Tom Watson talks about the transition, and when I click on the video, it's a guy talking about a conversation he had with Tom Watson about the transition. Well, when I click on the thumbnail and I look at the title, Tom Watson discusses the transition, the most important move in golf, I think I'm going to see Tom Watson talking about the transition. So there's so many ways behind the algorithms and the SEOs and all the things that you should be doing to get your channel, you know, where you need to get it, especially if you're a full-time YouTuber. Well, when I got in this, I got in it as an offshoot. I got in it to occupy free time in the off-season. I got in it to see if I could teach other coaches. And then it became a business that I got into to help other coaches grow the game, pay it forward, right? Me doing something that I wouldn't be able to do without the channel, right? I'm not going to be asked to speak at major conferences, conventions. I don't have multiple state titles. I'm just a guy talking football schemes. So, you know, originally when it all started, that's how it started. Well, then when the channel started taking off a little bit and PlayFast became its own brand, and I went out and got an LLC, and I got the hat company that I work with to make a logo through their logo and their logo design person, and it was a, you know, a logo that we made that was outside of me. It was a design company that made it. It was a digital design company that made logos for them. So then we came up with the PlayFast logo, right? And the channel started to grow, and it continued to grow. And, you know, from there we got to a point where we started becoming an influencer. So I started doing advertising for local companies like Dome Hats, like Baker Sporting Goods, like GameStrat, Difference USA, Just Play. Why? Because I had a niche, I had a demographic. I had an audience that they needed to reach, right? So my audience is 25 to 55, male, probably people that coach football or are interested in football. That's a perfect sales pitch as an influencer. I'm not a salesman. I don't work for those companies. I'm an influencer, right? Those companies use me to advertise for them, and then I get some deals through them, whether it's hats or shirts or whatever it may be, right? So I'm just trying to become somebody who's helping the businesses that supported PlayFast. Well, then you get to a point where you're in a business as a teacher and a coach and a part-time YouTube guy, and you've got two kids that are, one is now driving, the other one's in 8th grade, they're going to go to college in a couple years. Well, now you start figuring out, all right, well, no matter how good I do as a teacher and a coach, I only have the same salary. And if I don't do well enough, they can fire me, right? So I've been fired twice as a head coach. Never one time did I get a promotion for winning 9 games, for going to the 3rd round of the playoffs. I got paid the same amount that I did every other year, and then when I wasn't the right guy for the program, I got fired. So start thinking about, at 50 years old, the future of that business to say, hey, stay in this world the rest of your life. You're never going to get a promotion. The college window has passed me by. The NFL window has passed me by. I'm not going anywhere else. So you're going to make this amount of money for the rest of your life. But if you don't do a good job, they might fire you, and you've got to find another way to make money, right? So that's kind of the world we live in. So the YouTube became a side business. PlayFast became a side business. So, you know, now we're in kind of the situation where it needs to grow. It needs to become bigger. We need to do bigger and better things, right? So when I look at it, it's now, all right, so how can we take these different avenues, right? So I started doing a bunch of shorts, just trying to draw in a different audience. I do golf videos that are instructional. I do videos of me and a buddy playing a match, or we talk about it on a short. I do videos of me rolling greens as a part of the maintenance crew on a short, right? Just ways to reach out and branch out the PlayFast name, the Coach Mac name. Because let's face it, at, you know, almost 25,000 subscribers and now chasing 4 million views, which, you know, I'm extremely proud of the fact that we almost have 4 million views on a channel that is very niche driven, right? How many people are out there watching videos on X's and O's? So at some point, the growth of the channel in the football world, talking X's and O's, at some point that's going to stagnate. There's only so many people that want videos on X's and O's. I've never done videos where I talk about somebody else's scheme. I've never done videos discussing the NFL draft. I've never done videos discussing how Nick Saban runs certain things. I may use their terminology from time to time, or I may say that they call it this or they call it that. But I've never gone in the world of full breakdowns. There's people out there that do that, and they do a really good job. That's their niche. That's what they do, right? That was never my deal. So when you look at what I really do in the football world, at some point that audience is going to kind of stagnate. Now, 25,000 subscribers, close to 4 million views. Very proud of that. But how is it going to grow? How are you going to get it to be bigger and better? That's why I have all these notes down here, right? So, you know, something that is quote-unquote a podcast where I can speak my mind about things I want to talk about and talk about the Play Fast brand and talk about ideas that I have. Now they can go under a playlist. If you want to listen to things like that, listen to them. If you're just looking for me to do the next tight 3 high video, or the next video on tempo, or the next video on wide splits and Tennessee's offense, or whatever it is, that video is still going to be in the same place. It's going to be under Coach Mack. It's going to be under the Play Fast channel. It just won't be under the Play Fast podcast. So now I'm starting to separate some of my work to where it can be found by the people that want to find it, and I'm not wasting anybody else's time. The one thing I've always said is no matter what I do, the Play Fast Coach Mack YouTube videos that are for free are never going anywhere, right? That's never changing. 2 years ago, I hosted an in-person clinic. That was a big deal for me. I wanted to put my stamp in the clinic world. Pandemic happened right after. Haven't done one since. This year, we started doing Zoom clinics, right? What's a way that we can have speakers come in, speak about what they do, educate other people, right? Just different ways to bring more to life to what Play Fast is and what Coach Mack is, right? So I would like to get back into the in-person clinic world, but I'm probably only going to do it at the venue I had it because the venue was part of what made it special. Now, there's some other ideas out there, some other things we could do. I would like to do the in-person clinic deal. Not sure if it'll take off again. Would love it to take off again, but that's something I would like to do, right? So the Zoom clinics in the off-season. So trying to catch fire of the hot time when guys want football information. And if you can't do it in person, well then the Zoom clinics are a pretty good way to do it, right? So get yourself an audience. Small fee to do Zoom clinics, right? It didn't cost an arm and a leg. I didn't charge anybody an arm and a leg. It's the only thing, all right, on the YouTube side that I ever charged for. Every other video I've done has been free information. That's not going anywhere. That's not changing, right? So the idea was to bring PlayFast to a different market. Start doing the in-person clinics. We did it, then the pandemic hit it. Bad luck, bad timing. I got to figure out a way to get rolling again. Started doing the Zoom clinics, okay? Trying to get those to take off. Can we get some businesses involved where they become free? The businesses pay for everybody's seat at the clinic. A lot of ideas, multiple avenues, but now I have a way that I can pursue all these ideas that I want to pursue and put them under their own umbrella so they don't affect everything else, right? So, you know, in order for me to play or to build on the Play Fast brand, those are the types of things that you need to do, right? Zoom clinics. We did the in-person clinic. Started doing short videos all the time. 50-second, 55-second videos talking about a football topic, right? I have a Patreon site. I don't promote the hell out of the Patreon site. It's $5 a month to be a subscriber. There's a bunch of information that's on there. Probably don't add to it as much as I should, okay? But the Patreon site has videos. It has me talking about how we play certain things. I show you game clips. I show you diagrams from my playbook. Why? Because that's a subscription site. It's never going to become a site where I take you through other people's playbooks, what college teams are doing. That's not what that site is for. It was a site to take PlayFast and Coach Mack to another level. You asked to see how we teach something, that's, you know, a little bit more of that on Patreon. Asked to see how we play certain things. I'm showing you game clips of us playing, what it's like for our players to play in our scheme. And I'm coaching you through the good, the bad, and the ugly. Right? So there's the Patreon side of that. So we started doing the shorts, the Patreon. Continue to build on the influencing brand. All right, who is Coach Mack? How does he bring eyes to the product? You know, the main thing about an influencer is you're not a salesman. I don't work and sell for these companies. I don't sell products for them. I try and take companies that have been loyal to me and loyal to PlayFast, and I try and get eyes to their product through the demographic that I have, through the viewership that I have, right? So you look at, in my niche, my market, for what I do, our numbers are pretty good, right? So close to 25,000 subscribers, over, you know, close to 4 million views in the 10 years we've been doing it. average watch time per month, there's, on the average watch time, whatever, it's 3,000 hours of watch time per month. It's averaging 105 new subscribers a month. Well, as an influencer, that's the information you're trying to get out to people to go, hey, look, we're still doing these numbers. We're still doing. Is it ever going to touch the YouTube world of the people doing it full time? No, because that's not what we do. We don't do it full time, right? It's never going to be. I'm not going to get 1 million views on one video. Who's going to? What million people are going to watch 5-man pressure videos 300 3D? All right. There's enough sick people in the world that have the same affliction I do with the game of football, but there's not enough people in that pool. So how do you branch out and how do you grow? Well, one of the things that I started doing was bringing my golf life into my football life. Now, the interesting thing with that is I don't ever want the two worlds to blend themselves together, and this is what makes YouTube so unique. I started doing some golf stuff on my channel simply because there's a spectrum of people that know Coach Mac PlayFast through PlayFast. Right? So while I have that audience, what's the easiest way for me to introduce myself in the golf world? It's with that audience. The problem with that is that audience wasn't there for golf content, so I don't want to piss the people off that are there for football content saying, Coach, you uploaded a new video and it was a golf video. I'm not here for that. The beauty about YouTube is now I can take Coach Mac and PlayFast, which are a brand in itself. Coach Mac then becomes a character in the PlayFast brand, and now I can create a YouTube channel that is golf only. So I can try and build into the world. When you look at the golf demographic is unlimited. It's endless. It's every age bracket. It's male, it's female, it's everything you want to talk about. It's every skill level. It's great players, it's bad players, it's first timers, it's scratch golfers. It's everything you want, and that audience is endless. So the PlayFast football brand, it's not going anywhere. The PlayFast football brand, it's not going away. All right, that's not changing. But that audience and that spectrum in that window is kind of almost diluted or stagnated to where I don't know how much bigger Coach Mac PlayFast football can grow. Yes, I have the idea. Yes, I want to do in-person clinics again. All right, I have now that I can put podcasts in a video form without all the fancy equipment and without all maybe the official editing. Now I can do some of the things on YouTube I wanted to do in the past. So, maybe me and another football coach, and it'll probably be my head coach at this school, maybe once a week during the college season, we sit down and we shoot a video like this where the two of us talk about a certain matchup, and he talks about the offensive schemes, I talk about the defensive schemes. We talk about what's going to be interesting. We talk about why we're interested in that matchup. Or maybe we talk about the teams that we're studying or researching during the season into the off season that fit how we want to play football. And maybe now we can just do a video on those things that become kind of like a video podcast. But the two of us he's a head coach and a father of 3 and a dean at the school. I'm a head coach, father of 2, teacher at the school, trying to run PlayFast. I don't know if we had the time without hiring somebody from the outside to make that into a podcast. Well, now the easy thing is we could set up the camera in my classroom, sit down at the table and go, hey, what are the matchups you like this week? All right, here's the 3 I like, here's the 3 I like. All right, why do you like those matchups? Right, so we can do some things that I've always wanted to do. I'm not saying we're going to dive in. We would dive into more of the scheme that teams were running, analyze some of the video of them running that scheme, and then talk about why that scheme works for them, why they choose that scheme. Does it fit the personnel? Can we use it in high school? All right, and not getting into the true breakdown. Like I said, there's people out there doing that stuff. They do a great job, way better job than I would ever do it. That's not the world I want to go in. But a video podcast of me talking about college football, matchups that I like, why those matchups are intriguing, and then maybe going above and beyond to say, here's why I really think this is intriguing. This odd front team or this team produces or at least puts up, all right, something that is going to relate to some kind of challenge for the other team, right? Look at last year's game, Alabama-Tennessee, perfect scenario. What Tennessee is doing on offense with their spread, their splits, their tempo, what Alabama does on defense, trying to match a bunch of different things. Why is that so intriguing, right? Not necessarily going full-fledged into the Tennessee offense and what it is, because other people have done that, but looking at the matchup and why it's intriguing. Matchups that you're interested in each week. Why are you interested in those? We can do those things now under the YouTube podcast platform. And then what I do, excuse me, if you know that that's under the PlayFast podcast and I'm not diagramming, all right, 2 reader quarters, and you only want to hear me talk about 2 reader quarters, then you don't have to waste your time looking at it. So putting it into a world where I'm trying to build a brand, I'm trying to carry on and take the moniker, character, gimmick of Coach Mac. Now obviously in the wrestling world, Coach Mac is not a gimmick, it's who I am. But Coach Mac becomes almost a character in the YouTube world, right? So now you take Coach Mac into the golf world, and I'm rolling greens, and I'm that guy. And, you know, I am a 2-handicap golfer. I can put some pretty good things on film. I can give people information. I'm surrounded by a bunch of really good golfers. So now I can take Coach Mac, the character, bring him out to the golf course, and create a golf channel under the PlayFast umbrella, which everybody out there has also done. None of these ideas are new, right? There is nothing that's quote-unquote new. But everybody that branches out into that world, the golf pie is endless. The football window is like this. And if I'm not going to branch out into the other avenues of what guys are doing, and I want to stick to the football side of PlayFast is the generic thing that it's always been done with a whiteboard and videos and schemes and maybe techniques and fundamentals and practice organization. If that's what PlayFast football is, and it doesn't go anywhere, then that's there for everybody who wants to see it. Then on the golf side, I can create a completely different channel under the PlayFast moniker that everybody knows. Coach Mac is the guy behind it, but I can create another channel. One of the ideas I had, creating a channel called One Box Up. Why would it be called One Box Up? Well, in the golf world, at 50 years old, most of the matches I play against really good players, I'm playing from one box up. So if they play the tips, I'm playing the blues. If they play the blues, I'm playing the whites. That's how the game stays competitive. That's how you keep it fair, right? So if I'm playing 25, 30, 35-year-old plus 3 handicaps from the same tee box, they're hitting it 30 by me every time. That's not real fair. Can I grind it out and compete in that? Sure I can, but it's not real fair. Put me 1 tee box up, and now after almost every tee shot, we're in the same ballpark, and now we're attacking the golf course the same way. Will they have less club than me going in if they're 130? Yeah, but we're both 130, right? So now it makes it more compelling. I have a bunch of really good players that I can do different matches with. I have a bunch of different ideas of things that are my ideas, things that I've watched on other channels where I can make compelling match plays. 1-man scrambles, 2-man scrambles, 2-man scrambles with added, all right, details to them to make it interesting, funny. All right, 2-man best ball matches. And then traveling to different golf courses, talking about the design, the layout, the maintenance, watching guys on the rollers or guys that are cutting because I'm fascinated with that now that I work as part of the maintenance. Now it's a separate channel under the guides of PlayFast, under the guides of Coach Mac, the character, but it's a channel where that audience knows to go there for that channel so I don't piss off the audience that was there for the information on X's and O's in football, right? So you never want to take your original audience and piss them off or upset them. Not that any of you would be pissed off or upset. If you don't like these videos, don't watch them. That's easy. I'm not forcing you to watch anything. But if you get a video and you say, man, Coach, I was really jacked up. I thought you were going to talk about something on the whiteboard, and you sat behind a desk and talked about PlayFast football, you don't have to watch that video. You know this video is going to go onto the playlist of a podcast, right? So now if I create a separate golf channel and I try and branch out to build PlayFast a brand and Coach Mac, the owner of the brand, and I try to build that further than I can build it in the market demographic that I'm already in, well, now when I do that, I can do it to a specific audience. All right, I can pander to an audience and a demographic that is there for that, right? So, you know, as a 2-handicap golfer and somebody who plays the game fairly well, I can provide quality content, not only playing content, but information, my own opinion, the opinion of other guys that play the game really well, the opinion of teaching pros, and now we can do videos that are informational, videos that are educational, but videos that are just pure, you know, comedy and match play and all the things that you've been doing at golf courses your entire life, you're just documenting. Well, that's what everybody else does, right? There's enough of a pie in the golf world to put your own spin on it. The first group that came out and started doing vlogs or on-course matches, those groups never went away. Other people started doing it and they put their own spin on it. It's not really copyright infringement. Me videotaping myself playing a match against my buddies, There's no copyright infringement there. Yes, other people have done it. Now you get the channel versus channel match play, whatever, like our channel to get big enough to where me and a few buddies go take on Bob Does Sports, No Laying Up, Good, Barstool. Yeah, we'd love to get there. Will we ever get there? I don't know. Somebody can dream, right? I feel like I have a good enough personality to do it. I feel like I can provide a lot of quality shots on camera to do it. I feel like I know people in this area that are mini tour quality golf players. I know enough mid to high handicappers that would provide, you know, a character in a feature that people would like to see because you like to watch the trials and tribulation of the average guy, right? So, you know, the golf audience is so much bigger. I live in the golf world. I've been playing it for a long time. I play on the higher end of the spectrum when it comes to top percent. I'm probably top 5 to 8% of the golfers in the world. Doesn't mean I can play for a living. Doesn't mean I'm good enough to compete against the best players in the world. No, it just means that I can play golf at a level with my handicap that is top 8, 10% in the world, right? Well, if I can provide educational information, if I can provide information on golf courses, if I can provide good content that might be comical or that might be funny with interesting matches and different twists on matches, if I can provide that on a different channel, that means I can branch PlayFast out and grow the brand bigger. Otherwise, you're stuck in the same PlayFast deal doing videos in front of a whiteboard. You know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. If I want PlayFast to grow and I want to reach out to more businesses as an influencer to say, hey, here's what I'm doing, here's the people we're reaching, I can't do the same thing over and over again. Will those go away? No, they're not going away. That's who PlayFast is. That's who Coach Mac. That's everybody knows Coach Mac as that character. The guy that walks out in front of the camera, does a video, says, hey, see you next time, walks back behind. I've got my own catchphrase. You won't play well till you play fast. See you next time. I've got my own end video. All right, I've got my own curtain call, whatever you want to, well, however you want to look at it, right? So now under the podcast moniker setting that YouTube has, it's simple for a guy like me to get in front of a camera and talk about all the things I want to talk about. If it's not X's and O's and you don't like it, don't watch it. It's going to go under the playlist of the PlayFast podcast. As soon as you click on a video and you see that's what it is, you know it's not X's and O's, you can tune out. If you want X's and O's, you know where to go for that. If you want information on golf and what I'm doing in the golf world, you can go somewhere for that, right? So, you know, we all have to take a look. Again, I own an LLC. PlayFast Football is an LLC in Florida. Very small company. Only did that because of the clinic and some other ideas that I had that maybe I might need in, you know, an LLC for insurance purposes, right? I never branched out to quit teaching and coaching to become a businessman. But now that I've branched out and have had this business for the last 5 or 6 years now, PlayFast Football, and we've got it to a point where there is enough interest in it, there are enough people who know what PlayFast is and who Coach Mac is, well, how are we going to grow? Right? So we, in the football world, in-person clinics, Zoom clinics, right? Different videos maybe now on a podcast of me talking about intriguing college and NFL mascots. What makes that intriguing? Matchups. What makes that intriguing? Why do you like that? Which one do you really want to look at this week? Well, I want to watch this one because I know they're playing tight front and a bunch of 3 high, and I want to see how they play it against this 21 personnel team. Right? We can do videos on that. We can take PlayFast and what Coach Mac does to a whole other level within the guidelines that I'm comfortable doing it. I'm not an editing guy. I'm not a technology guy. All right? You know, I don't know if I have the time to do all those things. I'm trying to learn more about YouTube optimization, but this video is probably going to get the same thumbnail and same title as all the other ones. All right? Do I need to do that to take videos to another level? Yeah, I probably need to do. But at the same time, this channel and this character behind the camera was kind of made up under the generic guidelines of, hey, that guy presses record, walks in front, does a video. Sometimes the principal comes on and makes an announcement. Sometimes the bell rings. Yeah, that's who we are. It's generic. It's what we do, right? So, you know, when you're talking about building, and all my notes here to make sure I hit on everything I want to hit on. When you're talking about building as a business and growing, I don't think I'm ever going to, you know, I don't know, maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know if I'm ever going to be a businessman outside of football. I don't know if I've got what it takes to take Coach Mac the character, PlayFast the business, and combine all my ideas and everything I want to do to where this is a business that operates outside of the teaching and coaching world. Would I love to get there? Yeah, I'd love to get there. Number one answer, my salary in the teaching and coaching world is never going anywhere. It's locked in for the next however many years of my life. I can't retire until I'm 59. That's not a way to really live when you have a daughter that drives, another daughter in 8th grade, they're both going to go to college soon, right? Not a way that you want to live. My wife's a school teacher also. I'd love to get it to where she doesn't have to work. Not a way that you can make more money. So Coach Mac Play Fast is the way that we can branch out to become a business owner. Every business owner looks to make money, not lose money, right? But I never wanted to make money getting away from what Play Fast is. I still want Coach Mac Play Fast YouTube to be the same. How do I grow the business, the business or the Play Fast brand? Through other ideas. A separate YouTube channel. One box up, a Play Fast production. So you know it's Coach Mac, you know it's Play Fast. The people that sponsor me, and if I were to generate new sponsors and I can be an influencer, you know where you want your ads to go. All right, if you're in the golf world and you want me to influence as somebody who plays Titleist clubs or TaylorMade balls or Callaway balls or a Scotty Cameron putter or an Odyssey putter or a Cleveland wedge, well, now you know that we want to put that on the One Box Up Play Fast channel, right? If you want football stuff and you want like Difference USA, my buddy Anthony Schlegel who owns that company, it's a striking machine. That doesn't need to be on the golf channel. That needs to be under the Play Fast Coach Mac football channel, right? So now as an influencer, I can be in different genres, different avenues to reach people. Now, the hat company that I work for, Dome Hats, is great. You wear hats in golf, you wear hats in coaching, you wear hats everywhere, right? So why can't they, they can be a sponsor on both and try to, take advantage of that demographic and see if they can bring themselves, if that's something they want to do. They may not want to be in that market. If they don't want to be in that market, that's fine. It's still pushing the business that you are an influencer for. They can choose when and where they want their items pushed, right? That's what demographics are. That's what advertising is. So they can choose what they want. But now I can open myself up to more businesses, influence for more people, right? And when I pitch to those businesses, everything can be done in an avenue that says, hey, Coach Mac Play Fast Football's here. One Box Up, a Play Fast production is here. It just branches off under the Play Fast name, which ironically, Play Fast in golf is not a bad thing, right? There's probably a Play Fast Golf or something out there that's already taken, all right? But the moniker Play Fast, where Play Fast Football is the company, it's the brand, it's the LLC, Play Fast in golf is a good thing, talking about pace of play, right? You could do a match where you have a match play against somebody and there's time penalties and there's so many creative ways that you can video things on a golf course to make them entertaining. And the audience is so much bigger that that's something that I am interested in doing. I want to put my foot or my hat, my dome hat, in that arena. I think I can do it. I think I have the personality. I think I have a following that can start enough of it to get it going to where you can push the following in that direction. I think I know enough good golfers that can provide quality content. All right, where can it go from there? I don't know where it goes from there. I don't know if it goes to where, any of the guys that you watch that are now doing that for a living, I don't think any of them intended that they were going to quit everything else in the world and they were going to do that full time. They had an idea, they had a passion, they had an interest. They got it off the ground, it took off, and then it spun into a full-time gig. And now all of these places, all of these companies, people, names, whatever it is, they're all things that I watch. All right? They're all things that I watch. Why? For my entertainment. Why enjoyment? Now, because I want to put my foot in that, or my toe in that pool, or my hat in that arena, my name in that ring, my name in that hat, however you want to look at it, yeah, I look at them for ideas. I look at them for what they're doing. I look at them for spin-offs of things I can do, right? But I don't, first of all, the one thing I definitely don't do, I certainly don't begrudge any of them for taking something that they were interested in, an idea, and turning it into, something off the charts big. I don't know if I could ever get there. 50, going on 51 years old, would like to try, but hats off to them for doing it. But I do look at some of those products and say, well, I've got the football world where I've got that information, pretty good at providing information in the way I provide it, how I provide it, got an audience and a fan base and a demographic there. I think I could be really good in the golf world because if I videotape myself playing matches against some of the best players in Northeast Florida, I'm not going to embarrass myself. I may not win those matches, but if I play one box up, those matches are going to be competitive. When I get on film, you're going to see quality golf shots. You're also going to see golf shots that are off the planet where you can relate and go, He's 2 handicap, hits that shot. Yes, I hit that shot. Yes, I have the snap hook. Yes, I have the high block. Yes, I chunk chips or pitches. Yes, I blade irons every once in a while, right? So you can bring all that into a character of Coach Mac, and it can be something that's entertaining. So in order for me to build a brand, I've got to branch out and try other ideas. Now, the problem I have is I'm still a teacher and coach at heart. My salary, my benefits, how I provide for myself and my family is still 90%, 95% Tom McPherson, Mr. McPherson, Coach McPherson, the teacher and the coach. That's not going away. I can't quit that and go full time. But if I have ideas, or if I have something that people might be interested in that can get off the ground and run, well, then I can put more time and effort into it, and that's what I'm going to do. You know, another thing I'd like to do on the One Box Up Golf channel is I would like to follow the journey of me trying to qualify for the Senior Open in 2024. Said I was going to do it in 2023, didn't get into the site I wanted to get into. All the other sites happened right in the middle of spring football. I couldn't leave spring football to drive to Georgia, Tennessee, or South Carolina to try and qualify in one of those events. Excuse me. Well, now that I've never played in one of those events, next year I can try and qualify for the 2024 Senior Open. I'll be 51 years old, and I can document the process. How's it going? That can be another spin-off of Coach Mac Play Fast Football. It can be on the One Box Up channel, right? Now, that channel is not set in stone. That channel is not official. I have tons of other ideas, you know, things like next one's good. Okay, well, everybody in golf knows what that means, right? Putt it or mark it. Everybody knows what that means. 2 off the first, right? Everybody knows what those things mean. People have made shirts and hats and monikers and different things and ball markers off of those slogans. So there's already people out there using those things. I don't know what's taken on a YouTube channel and what's not, but the idea of the golf channel and the idea of One Box Up that was intriguing is when I play golf from One Box Up, I can compete with guys that are much better players than me. So I can play in skins games and I can survive in those matches. I can play in match play events 2v2 and not totally kill my partner when I play from One Box Up, and I think it's funny. I think it's funny watching my buddies, right, when we play, and they go, hey, great shot from that tee box. There's comedy there, right? I accept it because if I'm in a skins game and it's a money game, yeah, I'm playing from this tee box because from this tee box, I'm in the same world as you are from that tee box, and now I have a chance to grind it out and get on the board. I have a chance to win a skin. I have a chance to get a close-up. If I go back there and hit 4-iron while you hit 7-iron, I don't know how many times I'm going to win. So One Box Up, teeing it forward, talking about how the game of golf is played, why tee boxes make it competitive. There's also comedy in that, right? Which tees you playing? Oh, you're playing the white tees, one of those guys, huh? Yeah, there's a little bit of comedy in that. I'm also 50 years old. I'm not 35 anymore, right? So the One Box Up golf idea is, you know, a spin-off of Coach Mac, the person, Coach Mac, the personality, Coach Mac, the golfer, and then taking that as an idea and, you know, branching out into the golf world. Why the golf world? I've already said it, the demographic is endless. My demographic in football, my window is closing, right? My audience, it's tough to gain followers. We still gain about 100 followers a month on YouTube, which once you approach 25,000, which is minuscule in the YouTube world, right? Great accomplishment for me. I love it in the coaching world. YouTube world, 25,000 subscribers is small change. 4 million views, small change. But with that demographic and that business, all right, you know, motto or that business model, I don't know how much further that channel can grow. Okay, so branching out into the golf world, doing other things. Coach Mac as a personality. Videos like this, podcasting. Everybody knows I'm a huge pro wrestling fan. Why can't I get on the camera and talk about pro wrestling and put that under a podcast? If you're a quarters guy or a 2-read guy and you don't care, all right, about Cody Rhodes, or you don't care about Roman Reigns, or you don't care about my all-time favorite Sting, you know if it's on a podcast, don't click it, it's not going to be X's and O's. Right? So that's the beauty of all this to me. Long story short, podcasts on YouTube, which are not really podcasts, they're ways for an idiot like me who can't do a podcast to do a video like this talking about the future of Play Fast. What is Coach Mac doing? What do I want to do? Where do we want to take this? Where do we want to grow this? I can do this and I can load it as a regular YouTube video, and then when the YouTube video goes up, I can put it under the podcast, Play Fast Podcast, and now you know if You think this is going to be quarters, 2 read, 5-man pressure, tempo, mesh, counter, GF counter, GY, GT counter? You know not to click on this video if you don't want to watch, because you know that's not what it's going to be. This is going to be Coach Mac talking. Coach Mac the person, Coach Mac the character. Yes, sometimes I play a character. As a head football coach, I think we all do, right? So I play a lot of different roles as a defense coordinator, as a head coach, as a YouTube guy, all right? I've actually played a lot of different characters. How are we going to take that to the next level? Where do we want to take Play Fast, right? The one thing I've never done, when I do shorts, there's a button on there that says you can buy a super thanks, right? So when I do a short, somebody that's a follower could click on a super thanks and $1.99 goes to your YouTube channel. When I do YouTube Live, there's different ways that you can, in the chat, you can click on different buttons and, and different stickers or things that you can buy, and that money goes to the channel. I've had people do that when I've been on YouTube Live generically, but I've never asked people to do that. That's not what Play Fast and Coach Mac was, right? So everything has its window. Coach Mac, the businessman that wants to go out and turn Play Fast into a bigger business, needs to figure out a way, like my buddy tells me at Dome all the time, follow the money. Well, where's the money? The money isn't in me giving out free coaching advice. Free coaching advice and X's and O's on a whiteboard is a sickness. It's a passion. It's a way to help other people. That isn't going away. I don't want that to change. But giving out free information on a whiteboard is not following the money. Following the money is shooting your shot, betting on yourself and saying, hey, look, you know what? I think I can live in that world. All right, now, like I said, right now, July 17th, getting ready for fall camp in 2 weeks, getting ready for a football season, getting ready to teach classes. I can't live in that world right now, but I think moving forward with the right mindset and changing my mind, my, very negative, pessimistic, very hard on myself as a critic and an athlete, a golfer, a coach. I live in that world where I can be very down, very negative, very pessimistic. Well, I've got to be able to spin that around and say, hey, where do we want Play Fast to go? Where do we want Coach Mac to go? What do we want this brand to be? Bet on yourself, shoot your shot, see where it goes. Worst things happen, or if, worst case scenario, I'm just Coach Mac the YouTube guy. Okay, so be it. All right, I'm happy with that life. I'm going to be 51 years old. I've done a ton of things in my football career. I'm not upset with anything I've done. I'm not dejected with anything I've done. But if Play Fast is going to be a business, it's got to build. The brand's got to build. We got to move it forward. All right, and this is how we move it forward. Now, again, you guys, for those of you that watch this video, if you watch it for 2 minutes, thank you. If you watch it for 5 minutes, thank you. Click the subscribe button for Coach Mac. If you love football, subscribe. All right, turn your notifications on so you know when we do this video. But moving forward, if it's under the Play Fast podcast playlist, when you click on it, you know it's not X's and O's. My X's and O's videos won't go under that playlist. Thank you, YouTube, for doing this. It's an idiot-proof way for somebody like me to categorize. I knew how to do playlists before. I knew how to do all that. This, to me, is a no-brainer of how I do it. And because you tagged it podcast, I think I'm actually doing a podcast. So I think I'm actually sitting here doing a video podcast, preaching to you about all the things I want Coach Mac and Play Fast to be. I changed the camera angle. I'm behind the desk. Right? Probably about the best I can do in the podcast life, because other than that, technologically, I'm an idiot. I don't know how to do all that stuff. Could I learn? Yeah. Do I sell myself short? Yes. Do I really want to learn that? I don't know. Anybody else that's branched out into the YouTube, you talk to them, like, the golf guys that do the editing, they said, man, this editing stuff really takes a long time. Yeah, when you watch the video and they're out playing courses in England and they're playing matches in Florida, and they're playing matches all around the country doing the 1 beer a hole challenge, doing the fireball challenge. That's beautiful. It took a lot of work. Those guys have video guys. They're videotaping conversations from holes to holes. They got drones that are out there. Those guys are special. They're doing a phenomenal job. Now, where I think I fit in is I think as a character, I could do all of those things just as good as everybody else. What I can't do, the video, the editing, so you got to branch out. Do I have a video guy? I think so. Do I need to find a video guy? Maybe. Do you need to find somebody? Well, if I'm starting from the ground up, how do I tell somebody that I want them to be this video edit guy, but I don't make any money? I don't have money to pay you as a video editing guy. I got this idea and I've got this channel and I've got these things that I want to do. Come along for the ride. Maybe we make it, maybe we don't. I can't do that. I can't do that to another person. All right, so Play Fast, the brand. Football's not going anywhere. Coach Mac, the character. not going anywhere. I want to bring myself to a whole nother level. How can we do that? All the things we talked about. Different podcast videos like this. Let's talk about college football matchups. Let's talk about NFL matchups. All right, let's talk about, like this week. I know other people out there do this, guys. I've watched it. I enjoy it as a spectator. But talking about the U.S. Open, the Open, the British Open, all right, and the Open Championship. Well, why not lay it out and talk about what I think in the game of golf? Talk about the course. Talk about the track. Talk about who I think's trending in the right direction, who's in good form. All right, talk about maybe a lineup that I might be using on one of the apps that I use. All right, I don't represent any of those apps, but I have used or played a DraftKings lineup. I have made a prop deal on Underdog. I've done all those things. I've been on FanDuel. So why not take that and have a show around the 4 majors where we break it down and I talk about who I think's going to win. Is that revolutionary? No, everybody does it. People are doing it everywhere, but guess what? The people that are doing it put their own spin on it, and now they've turned it into something else. Can't do that unless you put foot in the pool, toe in the pool, name in the hat, throw yourself in the ring, in the conversation. It's not going to happen. The one thing I did realize, and my wife has told me this a million times, it's not going to happen sitting here thinking about it. It's not going to happen sitting here talking about it. This video is my way to speak it into existence. Coach Mac, Play Fast, the brand, the person is coming out, and I'm building it to bigger and better things. Guarantee it. I'm betting on myself. I'm giving it a shot. I'm taking my shot. If it fails, I'll just be the Play Fast YouTube guy. Nothing wrong with that. I love it. I love going to clinics going, hey, are you the Play Fast guy? Yes. Hey, are you the YouTube guy? Yes. I love that. All right. Is it where I want this business to be forever? No. But if it's where it stays and I fail at all these other ventures, all right, if I'm not a character on a camera playing golf, providing quality content, and that doesn't go anywhere, then so be it. I'm still Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. All right? Big ideas, speak them into existence, change the mindset a little bit, stop being the negative guy. I am the negative guy. I am the downer all the time. Why? Because that's how I was as an athlete. All right? I'm not saying that I was always negative body language. I'm very tough on my own performance. I critique myself very hard. I'm very tough on myself as a coach, always tough on myself as a player. So I take my own failures really, really to heart. And tough love is the only way I know how to go about things. So that's who I am, which tends me to sometimes get negative and get down. PlayFast is never going to be that company. You're never going to make it as a businessman. Time to change that attitude. PlayFast is shooting our shot. Coach Mac is shooting his shot. We're going into the world. We're going to try and do these other things before it gets too late. If not, we're going to take a shot while we're still healthy enough to do them. We're going to do all the things we said we were going to do, and we're going to try and take this thing up a notch. Turn it to 11. Another stratosphere. Why? Because we don't have another choice. We have the life that we live. We have what we already do. We know that we're doing that. I enjoy it. I love it. I'm not disgruntled. I'm not upset. But I can't figure out what PlayFast could be or should be unless I bet on myself and shoot my shot. So for those of you that are interested in coming along for the ride, glad to have you. For those who just want whiteboard video, still going to do it. For those who just want to come to a clinic, still going to try and do it. All right, so whatever your niche is that Coach Mac and PlayFast does, those avenues are all still there. All right, if you've got ideas or things you want me to talk about, shoot, send me a comment. I'll try and talk about it. All right, if you hate what, the new idea and you just want Coach Mac to be YouTube, send me a comment. Okay, I don't, those comments don't bother me. I don't sit and lose sleep over them. That's your opinion, number one. 2, you watch the video. 3, all right, no press is bad press. So you got to take the good, the bad, the ugly, the positive, the negative. Heck, there might be somebody out there with a better idea that can take PlayFast to the next level. You never know who's going to watch these videos, right? You never know who's out there. So why not Coach Mac? Why not PlayFast? Why not the companies that I already advertise for? Why not take all of us up a notch and turn this thing into something bigger and better, right? Every day we have a choice. We can make this bigger and better, or we can live in the world we always live in. All right, so if you watch this video for 2 minutes, thank you. If you watch it for 10 minutes, thank you. If you watch the whole thing, you're a sick, sick individual, but thank you very much. Subscribe to the channel. Smash that subscribe button. Turn the notifications on every time I do a video. We go on YouTube Live. You know what's going on. All right, thumbs up if you like it. Thumbs down if you don't. Not going to hurt my feelings. Leave a comment. You like the future of PlayFast? You like the future of Coach Mac? Am I a personality that can get these things done? Do I have the golf game to get things done in the golf world? Do you like the football content? Would you like to see me change the football content? Whatever it is, leave a message. You guys know I respond to everything. I'm not one of those people. I still, to this day, any coach that follows me on Twitter, I follow back. So I'm not one of those people that has 13,000 followers and I follow 2 people. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a big timer. I'm not worried about, you know, I did get my Instagram hacked one time, so maybe that makes me a big timer. But on Twitter, if a coach follows me with a coaching profile, I follow them back. All right? I don't follow 15-year-old players from other schools. That's not what I do. All right? I don't follow females. I'm married. That's not what I do. Okay? But I do follow people in the coaching profession because I'm not above and beyond anybody. I'm just a guy. I've made a lot of neat relationships and interesting, you know, met some interesting people in that world, and I'm still going to do it. So if you think, you know, I'm on the right track, leave a comment. I'm on the wrong track, leave a comment. Have what it takes to put my step into that ring, put my name in that hat, leave a comment. When you leave a comment, it probably should be your name in a Dome hat. Shameless plug for my buddies over at Dome. Stock hats suck. Do we have what it takes? Do you like the vision? Do you like the idea? Where are we? What do you think? Let me know. It's not going to hurt my feelings. All right? If I'm Coach Mac, play fast, guys, so be it. If I can bring this to another level, which I think I can, so be it. Let me know. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Play Fast Podcast. Not going anywhere as long as YouTube is doing podcasting stuff in this format. Easy for me to do. Same guy, same camera, same catchphrase. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. You won't play well until you play fast. See ya next time.